So Nicki Minaj has been dumped by her lawyer. She has been dumped by a lawyer representing her in a civil lawsuit. Nicki is being sued for $10 million by a fan who says that she viciously harassed him.
We'll be telling the court today that Nicki Minaj has satisfied the judgment.
So Nicki Minaj is on her second lawyer, walking out of a $10 million lawsuit, her second lawyer. And the reason listed in the court papers? A communication breakdown.
Yeah, so she had another lawyer that was representing her in this case. The new lawyer says it's a communication breakdown. They've been trying to reach Nicki for months. And she hasn't been responding to texts or emails.
I am sorry, but we are talking about a woman who tweets every 5 minutes, jumps into comment sections like it is a sport, and has never once met a camera she did not want to talk into.
You don't need to worry about them people.
How is there a communication breakdown? We need to talk about what is actually going on here, because something is not adding up. And the deeper you go into this story, the messier it gets. Let's start with the lawsuit itself, because if you missed it, here is what we are dealing with. A former Nicki Minaj superfan named Tamir Peak filed a $10 million defamation case against her. His claim is that during a Stationhead livestream back in 2024, Nicki called him a stalker and said he had a mental illness. Now, those are not small things to say. Calling someone mentally ill and dangerous in front of millions of fans is the kind of thing that can follow a person. It can affect their job, their relationships, their whole life. Peak is saying it did exactly that to him, and he wants $10 million because of it. Now, $10 million is not a number people pull out of thin air. That is the number you file when you believe real, clear harm has been done. So from the start, this was not going to be a quick case that goes away quietly. After the lawsuit was filed, Nicki brought in attorney Judd Burstein to handle things. Burstein has a strong name in music law, so it looked like she was taking this seriously. And then, out of nowhere, he suddenly walked away. No drama, no public statement, just papers filed with the court and an exit. People raised eyebrows at the time but figured, okay, maybe it was scheduling, maybe it was a strategy clash. These things happen. But then, February 26 comes around, and TMZ reports that Matthew Abbott, the attorney who stepped in after Burstein left, is also filing to walk away. And the language in his court papers is what sent the internet into a full spiral. He said there was a breakdown in communication with his client. His team had not heard from Nicki in months. Months, not a couple of missed calls.
And she is not responding to our calls, so I gotta withdraw. I gotta get out of this case. Judge hasn't signed off yet, but it probably will.
Months of silence from the person being sued for $10 million. And here is what nobody can explain away. At the exact same time her legal team is filing papers saying they cannot reach her, Nicki Minaj is online every single day. She is talking to fans. She is firing back at critics. She is in the middle of fresh back and forth with Cardi B after an SNL-related story came back up.
Cardi B is just a weekend update joke about Nicki Minaj.
New footage of the fight is surfacing. You can see Cardi stumbling across the hallway, held back by her security team.
She got pulled into new drama at the Grammys on February 1st, when her history with Lizzo became a whole thing again. She was right there in all of it. So the idea that she simply went quiet does not really hold up when you look at her feed, which means either the breakdown is more specific than it sounds, or something is being kept very quiet behind the scenes. And honestly, neither of those things is a good look. Now, I want to be fair about this, because the internet tends to pile on and fill in the blanks with the worst possible version of events. The truth is, we do not have the full picture. Lawyers leave cases for all kinds of reasons. Fights over strategy, money disputes, changes in the client's situation, scheduling problems. It does not always mean the client is careless or hiding something. Sometimes legal relationships just do not work out. But when you have two separate lawyers leaving the same case within a short window of time, and both of them leave with words like sudden and communication breakdown attached to their exit, that is harder to brush off. That is two professionals deciding on their own that they cannot stay on this case. That is a pattern, not a coincidence. The reactions on social media after the second lawyer walked were all over the place. And honestly, they show exactly how split people are on Nicki right now. Her core fan base, the Barbs, came out right away defending her. Some of them pointed out that we only have one side of the story through official filings, and that there could be very good reasons we are not aware of. Others argued that lawyers sometimes stretch the truth about communication issues when they just want off a case. And look, that has some truth to it. Court filings are legal papers, not a full news report. But then you had another huge chunk of the internet that was not buying the defense at all. They kept coming back to the same point. How do you lose contact with someone who is on social media constantly? If Abbott's team had her number, her email, access to her people, how does months go by? Either her team is cutting her off from legal stuff on purpose, or she is choosing not to deal with it. Neither of those is a good thing. Some entertainment writers started pulling back to look at the bigger picture, and what they saw was a pattern they had been watching build for a while. Over the past few years, Nicki's name has come up less for music and more for conflict. The Cardi B rivalry that never really ended, the ongoing fights with other artists, the political takes that split her fan base right down the middle, the messy stories that seem to pile up faster than they get cleaned up. Any one of those on its own would be easy to handle. Stack them together with a $10 million lawsuit and 2 lawyers walking away, and it starts to tell a clear story about where her team and her career actually stand right now. And then there were the fans who were just plain worried, which honestly felt like the most real reaction of all. Some people posting online were saying they hope she is okay, that maybe something is going on in her personal life that she has not shared. That is worth thinking about too. Not every silence is about running away. Sometimes people go quiet because something is actually wrong, and they do not have the strength to handle everything at once. We do not know what is happening in her personal life, and it would be easy to forget that famous people are real people dealing with real things. But here is the hard truth that does not go away no matter what is happening in her personal life. Defamation cases need the client to show up. Your lawyer cannot build your defense if you are not talking to them. They cannot file your answers, shape your plan, or protect you in court if they are working with nothing. The legal process does not stop because life gets hard. Courts keep moving, deadlines pass, and if you are not in the game on your own case, it can truly cost you. So what does this actually mean going forward? A few things could happen. She could bring in a third attorney and start fresh. That would mean finding someone willing to take on a case that is already running, with a communication history that is now in public court records. It can be done, but it is harder than starting clean. She could also try to go without a lawyer for a short time while she finds someone new, which would be a big risk with that much money on the line. Or this drags on in a way that creates more legal problems before it ever reaches an answer. What I keep coming back to is the gap. On one side of the screen, you have Nicki Minaj, one of the biggest names in music, someone with billions of streams,